KILR Killer Game.
Gamers and simmers and pilots, I am the Killer Gamer, and welcome to the World Tour featuring Flight Simulator 2 for the Commodore 64 by SubLogic. And we are here at Greater Kankakee in Illinois, and we are going to be going to Bloomington-Normal, which is... you can probably see that on your screen, but as soon as I can find the right window to click on here. We are here, and we are going here. So we'll tell you how we're going to do this here. We're going to tune in this nav radio right here, Piotone, and we're going to do it at the... let's see, 220, nope. 230, nope. So 225. Yeah. Well, and we can't do odd numbers, so it'll be 224. So we'll do 224 on the nav radio, and then we'll tune in the Bloomington radio. And as soon as that comes in, as soon as we get a signal, we'll center the needle so that way we can start heading towards it. And then we'll start tuning in. We can, well, you know what? Actually, let me think about this here for a moment. Because if we want to be able to line up. It's so difficult to line up with runways. Well, yeah, if we tune into this temporarily, we'll at least head in the right direction. And then we'll need to tune in one radio here to see if we can line up here. And then another one, use this here to maybe here to get an intersection point, and come down and probably take this runway here, which looks like maybe runway 22 or something. So that is what I'm looking at. So let's look at something else. Let's look at changing the weather. Let's update the weather here. Okay, so I just looked this up, and what we're going to do, let's see. We got overcast clouds, which is 2,700 feet above ground level, and the ground level for Greater Kankakee is 625. So, sorry, I double-clicked that unintentionally, it just got bigger. So that's going to make it about 3,300 feet. So we'll do that. And see visibility. Winds. We'll make 10 knots at 30 degrees. So that's north-northeast. So if we come into the wind, that will help us, that will help slow us down some. I think usually you want to go in a direction of the wind, I think. Or no, it was having us go the opposite direction. That way we're not That way we can, it'll help slow us down as we're going in. At least I don't know. That's my theory. All right. So let's go ahead and change our simulator to that. So we said 3,300. So let's make 1,000 over that is 43. We'll round this out to 45. 33. Not like we're going to be able to tell when we get out of it because there's no stars or anything, but just practice. Shear zone, altitude. Let's make it. What was the altitude again? 625. Okay, so we'll make this 630. Knots, it was 10 knots. Degrees, it was 30. degrees. And we've not going to mess with the reliability factor anymore because that was not very fun the last time. It was interesting, but not very fun. All right. Now we'll go ahead and click E for exit. And good, it did not move us around. All right. So now, let's go ahead and tune into the tower, which is 123. Just have to change it back. Find out what runway. Probably 4. Runway 4. Most likely that's the runway, because it looks like there's a runway 4 at Bloomington-Normal too. It probably would want us to take that same runway, I would think. But it's hard enough to try to fly around and land at, try to line up with the runway. I was just, the minute I see a runway, I'm just going to try to line up with it and land. It's complicated enough. All right. We're on a runway. So which one are we on? I think that is 4. Let's see. 360. That seems like that would be 4. If we were to turn. We'll get this bad boy started here. Oh, we need to tune our radios in. That would be a good thing. .2. And we were saying 224. Okay, there's one radio. 224. Having something set at Bloomington-Normal would be good because it would let us know how far away from the airport we are. Let's set nav 2. Actually, to 113. Come on. Work with me. There we go. to know how far away we are. And then we'll set nav 1 to Bloomington, which is 108.2. There we go. 62 miles. Yep, I knew this was going to be a flight. But oh my, 230. So what we're trying to do is center that needle. So if we were to fly right now, if we were at a heading of 234, that would take us right to the airport. So that's how you do it without a GPS. Okay. We're set as far as getting started. Let's go ahead and get ourselves turned around here. Of course, now we're off the runway. Can never stay on this thing. I was saying in the last episode this runway didn't have a center line. It does. Trying to get turned around here. There we go. I think that's got us lined up pretty good. I think we are ready to take off. Flaps are up. Let's get our trim. Oops, that was not the right one. Control V. Okay, altimeter is adjusted. Gyro compass adjusted. Off we go. Careful, careful. We don't want to stall. We're about to stall. This little red dot that was down here, did you see that? I wonder if that's that missing fuel box that we couldn't find. That might be. I think there was an airport where the fuel box was like way, like not where it was supposed to be. Heading just a tad bit here. Probably need to start using the rudder controls. I'll need to turn off auto coordination to do that, because I'm able to make fine-tune adjustments with turning. It's hard to do that with the auto coordination. All right. Well, we are set. Adjust our elevator trim so we can gain an altitude. I'm thinking look at that. I just adjusted my trim just slightly and it's like going crazy there. I'd like to get some altitude, like around 3,000 feet, I'm thinking. Still below the cloud level, but if for some reason we go too high, it'll be in the clouds. I like how they have the transponder here, but it doesn't do anything, so why even have it there? I don't know. You can change the digits on it. Let's see if I can see. Is it? I think it's Control X. Nope. Control X is to read information from a disk. Transporter. Oh well, it's transponder, not transporter. It's Control T, just as you would expect it to be. So you would do Control T. Nope, that was not it. See how I'm changing the first digit, and then Control TT would do the second digit. Control TTT would do the third one. So you can change it all around. It doesn't do anything. There's nothing to actually tune into. There's no ATC that, wants you to ident. It's got absolutely no purpose at all. Centered back on 236. It's not a bad angle. Yep, there's the clouds. Okay, so kind of pull up our map here. So we are heading in this angle direction right here. So now I'm going to go ahead and tune in the Roberts VOR. I think it's safe to say if we set this 270 radial, that's not too bad. That'll let us know when we should change course, follow this, then we'll change to this radio, and then when we connect with that, yeah, so there's our lines again. Yay! It's kind of like we have to hop around a little bit. Alright. Control N2 to change nav2. We're going to change that to Roberts 116.8. Control double N. We'll change our decimals to 116.8. There she goes. And we want to set that to 270, so it's VOR 2. We have to do Control V2. And now we can change this to 270. And it's off. It's interesting. It's off because we must be at a weird angle, so it can't really read us at the moment. Now I say control key, but it's not really the control key if you're on an emulator. It's actually the tab key. It's the control key on a Commodore 64. But if you're on a PC, like what I'm doing, it's mapped to the tab key. Now you can change it, of course. I know we're not seeing anything, but I'm pretty sure we're out of the clouds. If we look out the side, yep, the side there, we can see our roads. And to do that, we do, because the keys are, the T moves us down, B moves us up, G centers, F goes left, H goes right. So you've got that cross right there. Think of this as your numerical keypad. And then to fill in the rest of those 9 keys, so above the H, your Y is your flaps up, your N is your flaps down, and then on the other side, underneath the F, where the V is your elevator trim up, and above the F, R, is your elevator trim down. Now, your views out the window are the same thing, but you have to hit the number 5 first. So you hit 5 and then T to look ahead, 5R to look at an angle, 5F to look out exactly to your left, 5G to look down, 5H to look out to your right, well, there is nothing, 5B to look out behind you. So always remember 5 as your cockpit view, because 4 is your radar, or you could call it your map. Now to achieve level flight, I do that with a combination of the trim and the throttle. So if we look here, oh, it was trying to move. If we look at this right here, it's just slightly down. If we move up our throttle, I just usually do like maybe 1 key at a time. And you can see the RPMs here, they'll go up just a tad. And then I'll watch this. I want to try to keep it at 3,000. And we got to rely on our instruments. We're at the right heading to be able to catch this radial, so that's good. We'll try to get back on course here. Usually have to move just a tad bit and center it. Otherwise you'll go a little too far or too fast. That's why I have played with a keyboard for the longest time on subsequent flight simulators. I always felt I couldn't get as fine-tuned control with a joystick. Well, we're halfway there. We started off at about 60 miles away. We're about 38 now. And there's only one airport out here. I'll show you the map again. So right here, only one airport, so we're not going to get this confused with anything else. And as far as lines and stuff, it's very possible that there may only be one little line out here. And that may very well be the airport. That's just how simple it was. Let's bring our RPMs down just a tad. From 2050 down to 1950. Now, something we haven't shown you yet is changing your fuel tanks. Right now we're on our left fuel tank. You don't have an option to do both. It's one or the other. Let's see here. I believe it's going to be Control F. Fuel tank, yeah. So Control F for fuel, and then your greater sign, or your lesser sign, greater than sign, whichever way that it points to is which tank is selecting. So Control F, and then greater. Do you see the arrow? See how this arrow changed? So now it's selected that, and then Control F, go the other direction. So allowing you to get familiar with the Commodore 64 version here, just in case you feel the desire to go back in time and give this old simulator some love, which is what we're doing. We're going to give this simulator life again. We're going to fly through the country as much as we can. There's three scenery disks that were not released. Scenery disks 8, 10, and 12. Not for the Commodore 64 anyway. Scenery disk 12 was released, I think, for the PC, and it was released for the Amiga, but not the Commodore 64. At least I can't find it. And that's the New York area, which is odd that they did not release that. Now the main, it's not New York area, but it's New York and Maine and that area there. But as far as like Manhattan, I mean, that's part of the main Flight Simulator 2 disc. But if you wanted to have coverage, like flying from Chicago to there, you wouldn't have any airports to stop at. So that's kind of a bum deal. We're going to bring our RPMs back up to 2050 because we can't get it exactly level. So sometimes I have to like bring it up a little bit and then down a little bit. Let's see if I can bring up a picture of the scenery disks. And I will tell you what is all covered. So one thing I can tell you, there's Hawaii, there's Japan, there is what's called the Western European Tour, so that's going to cover like England, Germany, is it like France or Spain, maybe, possibly. So here is the map. I'm gonna try to trim this down here. So as far as the continental U.S., this is how it's broken down. It's broken down into sectors. We are in this area here, number 9. Now we're not using number 9 yet. We're still in the Flight Simulator 2 disk part of it. But number 9 covers Chicago, St. Louis, and Cincinnati. It covers these areas, and well, underneath here and stuff. Disk 1 covers Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, and Brownsville. Most of Texas, basically. Scenery Disk 2 covers Phoenix, Albuquerque, and El Paso. Now, I'm not saying that those are the only areas, like the only cities. There's a whole bunch of stuff in between, but it just gives you an idea of like what major areas are covered, and there's airports in between those. 3, as you can probably guess, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and also Las Vegas. There's also a scenery disk for San Francisco specifically. We need to move down again. Scenery disk 4 up here. Oh, you can't even see my mouse. Scenery disk 4 up here. So here's 1, here's 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Scenery disk 4 covers Seattle, Klamath Falls, and Great Falls. So that's actually going to cover Montana. Scenery disk 5 covers Salt Lake, Cheyenne, and Denver. And 6 covers Omaha, Wichita, and Kansas City. So just to give you an idea of where we're going to be flying, we're going to be coming down here and around, and we'll be coming through here and down around here, and then we'll be coming through and working our way, I believe kind of like this is what we're going to be doing, something like this. Now you may be thinking, oh, whoa, what about all this other stuff here? Okay, so this is where it starts getting interesting. So 1 through 6 are done. All right. I don't remember what order they were doing these, but they didn't do it in numerical order, that's for sure. I remember they released 7 and 11 at the same time because of the, because I remember, 7-11. But 7 covers Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Jacksonville, Miami. 8 covers Memphis, Atlanta, and New Orleans. Or New Orleans, depends on how you want to pronounce it. This, I can't find. And I don't think it was ever made. 9, but not 8. So, how come this wasn't made? I don't know. So you can see we have a big gap here. We can fly from coast to coast, from here to here, but we got a big gap right here. So 8, 9, okay. 10 covers Billings, Twin Cities, and Green Bay. This is another one that was not completed. This is a huge area right here. And this one wasn't done. Can't find this one anywhere. 11, this is done. Lake Huron and Detroit. And then lastly, 12, Halifax, Montreal, and New York. And this is the one where it's like, I've never seen it released on the Commodore 64, but it did come out for the Amiga. And I did see this released for the PC Flight Simulator also. So there you go. Just some in-flight entertainment for you. Look how far this thing has gone off here. Control D. We're a little off course. Not too bad, though. We still haven't caught that radio. It's a good thing I wasn't paying attention. 18 miles from the airport. Do a Control B for altimeter. It's still looking good. We're pretty much headed to the airport, so if we were to see it, it would be here in front of us. Let's take a look out our windows. Well, completely black that way. Nothing that way. Alright, we're getting some movement here. Let's start turning. Remember, once we catch that 270 radio, we need to change our nav2 radio to Pontiac. The Pontiac VOR. And then we're going to set that to a radio of 195. And then when we hit that, if we turn on that intersection, that should take us right to the airport and relatively not lined up with the runway, but at least within the ballpark. Miles from the airport. And that's it. That's the airport right there. Just a line. Just a line. So we need to trust in our radios, our instruments here. Depth perception is not our friend in this game. Alright, time to change nav to 109.6. 109.6. 109.6. 194 is the radio that we want. 194. There we go. It's moving. Let's get some flaps down. Let's bring down on throttle. I know we're 11 miles away from the airport, so we should still have plenty of time to get down there. Yeah, see, there's the airport. And we'll start turning. I think 194 is going to be the right radio, but because I can sort of see something right there, and I think that's the runway. And we can use our radar, see if we're close enough. And we're not, because I am not getting anything. Nope. Okay. So you have to kind of bank this way and that way to kind of see how that line is angled. Is it angled this way? Is it angled this way? It's not very easy to tell. We know one thing. It should be at an angle of 210, and if we're sitting at a 230, then that means that we should be coming over on this side of it. Okay, we need to slow down some more flaps. We are getting too high though. We're still at 3,000 and we're nowhere near where we should be. Altitude is 875. We'll do the last thing of flaps. It looks like we're really low, doesn't it? But we're not. We're not even below 2,000 yet. And we're 6 miles away. Still doesn't look like we're quite lined up yet. I mean, I know we're not lined up, but I'm trying to get us to where we can turn. About 5 miles away. Start adding some power back. We'll slow our rate of descent. Four miles from the airport. Just a tad. No, not a tad, but more power. Looks like the runway is coming up here. Two miles. It's like the anticipation. We're going to come in at a slight angle here. Like I said, trying to line up perfectly on this is just difficult. The wind is blowing us too. Alright. Down, 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 down. Definitely not on the runway, but easier to try to do it during the daytime. Oh my. Whew. All right, so there we are. DME 0.5, so we're here. Wow. Okay, so Bloomington-Normal, that's where we're at, and next time we are going to the last place in the Chicago section of the Flight Simulator 2 disk. And that is right here. University of Illinois Willard. When this is all that we had for Chicago, this is as far as I went. And keep in mind that there were 4 areas in Flight Simulator 2, this just being one of them. But I would fly all the way down here, stop off at Greater Kankakee, and then back up. Sometimes I would go over here, but so yeah. So next time we're flying here, and then after this, it's scenery disk time. All right. Cool deal. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to check out this same flight on the other simulators, and I will see you next time on the World Tour. If you enjoyed this flight and trip back in time, then you might enjoy some of these other videos I made of the same flight. This is just a small sample of the other simulators I'm also using for the World Tour, so you can check out how things compare there if you'd like. Or perhaps you have fond memories of one of them and just want to see more. There will be more flights, so remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around in the skies.